Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk to you about Usaluna. What is Usaluna? First of all, I'll spell it. USA, Luna, right? So what is Usaluna, right? Well, the Usaluna is the proposed U.S. moon catalyst settlement. Who proposed Usaluna? Well, me, J. Scott Garibay. I'm an American citizen, and I'm proposing it now to the 2021 U.S. president, whoever that will be, right? And I think it's and the reason why I'm proposing it now is we have some major changes in life. The world has dramatically changed, and it demands some changes from the United States of America to keep American citizens safe and global citizens safe, right? And Usaluna, a U.S. moon catalyst settlement, is absolutely necessary in order to do this. So let's talk about Usaluna. So first of all, USA, Luna, moon, right? I think it's Latin for moon. And so basically, this would be the first U.S. moon catalyst settlement, okay? So the United States of America putting a catalyst settlement onto the moon. Now, what is a catalyst settlement? Well, one, it's not a colony, right? There's a lot of problems with colonies. It's a terrible, colonies, it comes with a lot of freight, right? But a catalyst settlement would be land owned fully 100% by the United States of America, okay? How big would it be? It would be exactly the size America is today, right? So we would literally, plant our flag on the moon, okay? And then we would claim an amount of space on the moon equal to the amount of space we have as the United States continent, right? The continental United States. And we would, put the flag on the moon, and then we would center the rest of the geographic U.S. space right there, right? And claim an amount of space on the moon as a catalyst settlement that is equal to our current size. That is equal to our current size that we have on Earth, okay? Now, why will we do this? Well, we'll be the first nation to claim land on the moon. And wait, I hear you're like, wait, Scott, nobody can claim land on the moon. Yes, we can. I'll explain it to you. All right, so first of all, there are some nonsense agreements with global organizations that have no ability to enforce anything, that are agreements between nations, right? And America has honored those agreements, and I see the value in honoring those agreements to this point. Now, why do those agreements need to change now, right? Well, frankly, the pandemic. We are going through a pandemic right now. We're in the masked months, right? And we're praying that those are not going to become the masked years, right? So we're in the masked months, and this has changed the planet, right? And frankly, there's nowhere safe on the planet. Nowhere, right? We're all masked up. We're all, huddling in our little houses like moles in the ground. It's not great. It's pretty terrible, actually, right? So what would Usaluna allow us to do? So this catalyst settlement, right? This would be a block of land that is large on the moon, owned 100%, by the United States of America, and it would be our catalyst settlement. It would be land we own on the moon, claimed by the United States of America, in exactly the same size and proportions as the United States continent is today, all right? Now, the reason why we were doing this is we would be creating a template in which any country that wants to can go up onto the moon and claim ground, right? Well, what do you got to do that? You get your astronauts up there and you put a flag in the earth, right? In the soil of the moon. That's how you claim it, right? That's how land has always been claimed. There's a history of it. It's literally what it's a solid plan. It's historically provisioned, right? It's in place, right? All right. So you get your astronauts up there, they plant a flag, and then you say, okay, on the moon, we have this amount of ground, right? And every single country on Earth can do the same thing, right? And we're setting the template. We're saying, hey, this is a peaceful way, race to the moon, plant your flag, and then you get your geographic space that you have on the Earth, right? You cannot overlap anybody else. Oh, and if you're late to the party and there's no room left, well, sucks to be you, right? Like, right? But this is a way that, you know, there's no conflict, there's no war, right? It's a safe way. Now, why should we do this? Why should we say, hey, the international agreements that say you can't claim any of space, you can't claim any of the moon should change? Well, Usaluna, the U.S. moon catalyst settlement, is desperately needed. Why is it needed? Quarantine, baby! Right, there you go. Right, we have people who are immunodeficient. We have people who are highly susceptible to the not just COVID-19. What about COVID-20? What about COVID-25? What about COVID-30? Right? We are going to have people, U.S. citizens, who desperately need safety. Right? They need quarantine. And guess what? Usaluna is going to be the best quarantine in the world. Actually, off the world, right? Like, the best quarantine in this universe, right? So basically, once you set up Usaluna, you can very dramatically limit the amount of people. Like, you know, there are people who are immunodeficient, right? They try to go get, you know, they try to go out and just have a nice meal, or you know, go buy a book or something. People are walking around without masks, right? And really making it a dangerous space for them. But on Usaluna, baby, whoa, there you go. You're all set, right? Nobody can stroll up. It's very hard. You can limit who's there. You can limit your number. You can make your social distancing incredibly safe, right? The other thing is, on Usaluna, we will be able to do research that you could not do on Earth in the most safe, most protected environments there possibly are. And you could remove your research facilities from your quarantine facilities, right? There's no gravity, there's no animals up there. It's great. It's perfect. It's perfect for research. It's perfect for quarantine, okay? And we can have all types of levels of quarantine. We get all types of level of research, right? Now, why should the world allow America to do this? Well, one, can they stop us? I don't know. Like, right? So, and it's always been a race to the moon. Come on, let's not pretend, right? Like, we're not going to just sit around and wait for some other country to do this, right? And the reality is, it's ridiculous. But the reality is, okay, we played nice with all the other nations for a while, and we're like, okay, there's absolutely a pressing reason why all countries should claim, you know, space on the moon. But let's pretend that there isn't, which we did until 2020. But right now, it's staring us in our face, right? We need that land for research. We need that land for quarantine, right? It is needed. This is no longer a discussion point. This is no longer a debate. Only the most cruel and, in my opinion, irresponsible intellectuals would say that this isn't absolutely needed at this point. It'd be outrageous to say it wasn't. We desperately need safe quarantine spaces. We desperately need safe research stations. And on Usaluna, it would be safer than anywhere on Earth without question. It is not a debatable subject, right? So we desperately need this. Now, what should the U.S. do to make sure that everybody understands this isn't just a selfish grab for land? Well, it wouldn't be a selfish grab for land. One, when we set the template of saying, hey, go on up there, grab your land exactly the same size as your geographical land, right? We're inviting others to for a completely peaceful way to chop up the moon and give it to the people up there. Whoever's got the most, brass to get up there and claim, you know, and with a flag, they deserve it. It's an absolutely time-honored, fantastic way that's much better than the historical way, because previously in history there's been a lot of conflict over it. This you could do without conflict, right? So it's a really good, solid map. But what else beyond that? Well, one of the other things is, once we established Usaluna, America would say, okay, listen, 50% of this is going to be for U.S. citizens because we got up there first, we claimed it, this is our land, right? But 50% will be for refugees from every single nation on the earth, right? Decided by lottery. And then all, you know, and these would be pandemic refugees, people who needed quarantine in the most severe ways possible, right? Quarantine needed in the most severe ways possible. And so 50% would be for Americans, 50% would be split up among the rest of the world, and the U.S. would promise any and every single, any vaccines that were created up there, or any life-extending drugs that were created up there by U.S. private corporations or by the U.S. themselves, would be shared immediately or within 5 years if it was a private corporation, right? And then, and would go public domain within 5 years if it was a private corporation. And if the U.S. government is successful in getting the vaccine first, it'd be available immediately. But if it wasn't, if a U.S. private corporation found the vaccine, it would be available within 5 years for every other country on the planet. And reality is, we're going to need this kind of innovation. We're going to need this kind of courage. We're going to need this kind of thoughtful thinking in order to create a vaccine, in order to create safe quarantine spaces, in order to create safe research spaces. This is a great idea. This is something that really puts the human race forward, right? And thinks about the human race first. I am proposing that the United States of America, beginning on day one of the 2021 U.S. president's term, right, should state to the world that Usaluna will be claimed and will begin building before end of year 2022. That doesn't surprise everybody. It gives everybody fair warning, right? And it also gives everybody also a chance to go up and see if they can plant their flag first, right? And grab up land as well. So I think this is by far the best possible way to handle this. This is a very safe, very useful solution to a very real problem. Well, that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. What do you think of my idea of Usaluna, the first U.S. moon catalyst settlement? I'd love to hear it. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful millennium.